Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with a sharp pain in your legs that makes you scream or freeze in shock? As if a muscle hardened without warning and refused to let go. As if an invisible claw was squeezing you tight. It happened to me too, and not just once. It was several nights. At first I thought it was because of age, that it was normal. But no, nighttime cramps should not be part of your life, or mine. So many people over 60 suffer from this every night. And the worst part is we don't always talk about it. We get used to the pain, the fright, the poor sleep. And that wears down our health little by little. Because sleeping badly doesn't just make you tired, it puts you in a bad mood, it drains your energy, it keeps you from walking confidently the next day, it takes away your desire to move. And if that happens night after night, the body starts to shut down. That's why today, I want to tell you something that changed my life. I'm going to share 3 very simple products, easy to find, not expensive, and most important of all, they have helped thousands of older people reduce or even eliminate nighttime cramps. They are not magic cures, but they are practical, real, and proven. And I assure you the third product I'm going to talk about, the least known of all, is the one that has delivered the most results. So I recommend you stay until the end, because it might be exactly what you need. Oh, and before we continue, I'd love to know a bit about you. How old are you? And from which country or city are you watching me? Leave it in the comments. I love reading you. And maybe I'll greet you in the next video. Let's get started. There's something you should know from the beginning. Nighttime cramps don't show up by chance. Your body doesn't do that just because. There's always a reason. And if we understand the origin, we can start to solve it. First, let's talk about the most common cause. A lack of essential minerals. As the years go by, the body loses the ability to absorb nutrients. Even if you eat well, you may not be getting enough potassium, magnesium, or calcium. And these 3 minerals play a key role in your muscles. Potassium regulates muscle contraction, magnesium helps the muscle relax, and calcium allows the transmission of nerve impulses. When any of these 3 is low, the muscle becomes unstable. And that is exactly what happens during a cramp. A muscle, usually in the leg, contracts suddenly, involuntarily, and painfully, as if it tightened and didn't know how to let go. But minerals aren't the only cause. There's also hydration. Many older people don't drink enough water, and what they do drink, they sometimes lose quickly if they're taking diuretics, which are common in treatments for high blood pressure. Without water, muscles become stiff, dry, less flexible, and that makes them more prone to spasms during the night. Add to that something almost no one considers: lack of movement during the day. If you spend a lot of time sitting, if you don't stretch your legs, if you don't walk at least a little, the muscles weaken, they lose tone, they become more sensitive, and at night, when you're totally at rest, bam! The cramp arrives. But to help you understand better, I want to tell you about Rose. Rose is 78 years old. 2 years ago, she had hip surgery. Recovery was long, and for several months she could barely move. She started taking strong painkillers, and also a diuretic her doctor prescribed. Within a few weeks of being home, the cramps began. First once a week, then twice. After that, every night. She thought it was normal, part of the process. But it wasn't. It was a sign. Her body was low in magnesium. She was dehydrated, and she had gone too long without moving her legs normally. When her daughter noticed, they sought help. Her medication was changed. She began taking supplements, and with the doctor's approval, she started doing gentle exercises in bed. In 2 weeks, the cramps disappeared. That's why I repeat it. Understanding why cramps happen is the first step to eliminating them. It's not a matter of age. It's a matter of prevention, care, and information. And fortunately, you're not alone. You're learning, and that already puts you at an advantage. Many times when someone mentions nighttime cramps, people think it's just that. A momentary pain that comes, hurts, and goes away. But those of us who have lived it know that's not how it works. The real problem with cramps isn't just the pain. It's everything that comes after. A cramp doesn't end when the muscle relaxes. The pain remains, the tension too, and most quietly of all, the fear. Because when it happens once, you tolerate it. But when it happens twice, 3 times, 10 times, the body starts to anticipate it, and that changes the way you sleep. It changes the way you live. Imagine going to bed with anxiety, watching the clock, begging that it won't happen tonight. Imagine waking up with a muffled cry, heart racing, leg hard as a rock. That feeling of helplessness, of not being able to move, of not being able to rest. That's how a chain begins to form. First the cramp, then the fear of sleeping. After that, insomnia. And with insomnia, exhaustion. And exhaustion makes you move less during the day, which increases the chance of more cramps. It's a cycle, a vicious circle. But the worst part isn't always the physical pain. Sometimes the hardest part is what it does to your spirits. You start to limit yourself, to avoid activities you used to do without thinking. You lose confidence in your body. And that isolates you, weakens you emotionally, makes you more dependent. I want to tell you the story of Mr. Raymond, a man of 81 years who, until recently, walked in the park every day. It was his routine. Walk, sit on his favorite bench, people watch, greet the neighbors. But one day he started having nighttime cramps. First once, then almost every night. He tried changing sleeping positions, putting pillows under his knees. Nothing worked. Over time, he began to sleep poorly, to feel tense during the day. The tiredness showed in his eyes. And slowly, he stopped going out. First because he lacked energy, then because he was afraid to go out and fall, afraid to push his legs and get a cramp while walking, afraid his body wouldn't respond like before. Weeks passed. Mr. Raymond stayed home, and what began as a muscle pain ended up stealing his most cherished routine, his little moment of freedom. So I want this to be very clear. Cramps are not just cramps. They're a chain that, if you don't break it in time, starts to tie you down in ways you can't imagine. The body suffers, yes, but so does the mind. And when you feel weak, you start acting as if you were. That's when aging speeds up, not because of the years, but because of neglect. But there is a solution. Breaking that chain is possible, and that's why you're watching this video. When cramps become frequent, the first thing the body is trying to tell us is that something is missing. And one of the most important minerals to prevent muscle spasms is magnesium. Magnesium is like a natural tranquilizer for the muscles. It helps them relax, stay balanced, and not contract abruptly. Without enough magnesium, muscles become tight, restless, and fire off without control. With age, the body absorbs less magnesium from food. And to make things worse, there are medications like diuretics, stomach protectors, and some antibiotics that reduce its levels even more. The result is this: muscles that tense when they should rest. Now, not all types of magnesium are the same. There are several forms: citrate, chloride, glycinate, oxide, and each works a bit differently. For cramps, the most recommended are often magnesium citrate, if taken in capsules or powder, and magnesium chloride if applied as a spray on the skin. Why as a spray? Because many older adults have digestive issues or take many medications. And applying magnesium directly on the legs or feet bypasses the stomach and allows a more direct absorption, especially in the area where the cramp usually appears. In fact, there are medical studies that have shown it. In older people, transdermal magnesium, that is, on the skin, can reduce the frequency and intensity of cramps within weeks. It's not a miracle, but it's real support that works when you're consistent. So, when should you take it or apply it? Ideally, between 1 and 2 hours before bed. If you take capsules, accompany them with a little water and a light dinner. If you use a spray, apply it directly to the calves, massaging gently until it's absorbed. You can do it seated, calm, with low lighting, as part of a routine to prepare the body for rest. And what can you expect? The first changes are usually noticed from the 3rd or 4th day. Less tension in the legs, fewer nighttime jolts, and little by little, deeper sleep. Let me share something personal. I started getting cramps a few years ago. I tried everything: Changing sleeping position, putting pillows, drinking more water. Nothing worked. Until a friend said to me, "Have you tried magnesium?" I didn't even know that could make a difference. That same afternoon, I bought a bottle of magnesium chloride spray. I used it for 6 nights in a row, without great expectations. And on the 7th night, something changed. I slept through. No startles. I woke up feeling my legs lighter. And most importantly, without fear. Since then, I use it every night, like brushing your teeth, like turning on a lamp. It cost me almost nothing, but it gave me back something that's worth a lot, the peace of sleeping without pain. That's why I'm sharing it today. Magnesium isn't a magic cure, but if you use it consistently and in the right form, it can be the first step to leaving cramps behind and getting your nights back. There's a silent enemy that affects millions of older people without them realizing. That enemy is dehydration. Yes, dehydration. Even if you're not thirsty, even if you drink 1 or 2 glasses of water a day, your body can be dehydrated, and that directly influences nighttime cramps. As we age, we lose the natural ability to feel thirst. The body needs water, but it doesn't ask for it as strongly as when we were 40 or 50 years old. And when we don't drink enough, the muscles begin to suffer. But here's something important almost nobody explains. It's not just about drinking water, it's about retaining it. When you drink plain water, especially if you're taking diuretics, that water can pass quickly through the body without staying where it's needed. It's like watering a plant without soil. The water goes away, but doesn't nourish. That's why many health experts recommend adding natural electrolytes to water, especially at night. Electrolytes are minerals like sodium, potassium, and bicarbonate, which help water enter the cells and stay there, truly hydrating. A very simple mixture you can make at home includes a large glass of water, a few drops of fresh lemon juice, a pinch of sea salt or Himalayan salt, and a small pinch of baking soda, optional if you have no kidney issues. This mix improves water absorption, balances minerals in your body, and can significantly reduce nighttime cramps. It's not about chugging liters. With 1 or 2 glasses a day, preferably in the afternoon or before bed, you can already notice changes. The goal is to help the body regain that natural balance it loses over time. Let me tell you about Ernest and Julia, a retired couple, both over 70, who had been suffering cramps for months. Ernest got them at the back of his leg, right when he turned over in bed. Julia woke up with her toes rigid and couldn't even walk to the bathroom. They tried all kinds of solutions, creams, massages, changing the pillow, until a grandson who is a doctor asked something very simple. "Are you drinking enough water with salt?" They laughed. Salt in water? But isn't that bad? And there's the confusion. Excess processed salt is harmful, but a small amount of natural salt, rich in minerals, can make a big difference. They began drinking this homemade mixture every night, 30 minutes before bed, and after a week, the cramps disappeared. Not by magic, but because they finally gave the body what it needed to rest without tension. Since then, it's part of their routine. 1 glass at night, with lemon, salt, and care. Because sometimes, the simplest thing heals the most. So if you're drinking water and the cramps persist, ask yourself, could it be my body needs something more? Maybe it just lacks those small ingredients that let water stay, nourish, and repair. There's something we've forgotten over the years, though it used to be part of many older people's routine: foot baths. Yes, that simple act of soaking your feet in warm water, letting the body relax from the bottom up, can be one of the most effective and pleasant solutions to prevent nighttime cramps. And if you add a handful of Epsom salt to that bath, the effect multiplies. Epsom salt isn't ordinary salt. It's mainly magnesium sulfate, a mineral that, as you saw before, is key for muscle relaxation. When you soak your feet in hot water with Epsom salt, that magnesium is absorbed through the skin, enters the tissues, and starts calming tense muscles. You don't need to swallow pills or worry about combinations with medications. It's a natural, safe, and very effective method. And you know what's best? This ritual not only helps reduce cramps, it also has emotional benefits. Because when you take 15 or 20 minutes to care for yourself, to pause, to breathe and feel the warmth in your feet, you're also telling your body, you can rest now. This improves sleep, reduces anxiety, and lowers the day's pressure. It's like a message of calm that starts in the feet and reaches the heart. So, how do you do a proper Epsom salt foot bath? Very easy. Fill a tub or basin with hot water but not boiling, warm enough to be comfortable to the touch. Add half a cup of Epsom salt. Stir a little with your hand until it dissolves. Soak your feet for 15 to 20 minutes. While you do it, you can close your eyes, play soft music, or simply breathe in silence. Do it preferably an hour before going to bed. Don't use your phone. Don't turn on the TV. Just stay with yourself, letting the warmth and minerals do their work. Let me tell you Mary's story. Mary is 75 years old and has lived alone since her husband passed. For months she started feeling leg cramps every night. She thought it was because of age, sadness, sleeping alone. She took medications, tried supplements, but nothing seemed to help. Until one day, her neighbor left a jar of Epsom salt at her door. She said, "Try it tonight. Give yourself 20 minutes." Mary wasn't expecting anything, but she did it. She warmed the water, prepared the bath, and stayed there, in silence, for the first time in a long time. That night, she slept straight through. No startles, no pain, no cramps, and she repeated it the next day, and the next. As days passed, not only did the cramps go away, she also started sleeping better, feeling less tense, calmer. As if that tiny gesture had given back something she'd lost. True rest. Since then, her foot bath has become a ritual, her moment, her nightly gift. So if you've never tried it, or if it's been a while, I say this with care. Do it again. Your body will thank you. It doesn't cost much. It doesn't take time. But it can change how you sleep and how you feel about yourself. Sometimes cramps aren't due to a disease, not even to a serious medical condition. Many times cramps come from everyday mistakes, so simple, so common, that we don't notice them until it's too late. Today I want to talk about 4 very frequent mistakes that may be causing or worsening your nighttime cramps without you realizing it. And most importantly, all of them have a solution. First mistake, taking diuretics without medical supervision. Diuretics are medications that help remove excess fluid from the body. They are very useful in cases of high blood pressure or fluid retention. But they also have an important side effect. They wash out minerals when you urinate. Potassium, magnesium, sodium, all get depleted. And when levels of these minerals drop too low, muscle spasms appear. Many older people take diuretics out of habit, or because a doctor prescribed them years ago and never reviewed the dose. If that's your case, it's essential to talk to a doctor and check whether you really need them, or if there are alternatives that don't affect your muscles as much. Second mistake, eating too little potassium, or too much sodium. Potassium is essential for proper muscle function. Without enough potassium, the muscle becomes weak, unstable. Where do we find potassium? In natural foods like banana, potato, avocado, spinach, yogurt. The problem is that many older adults have reduced their intake of these foods for fear of gaining weight or simply out of habit. At the same time, they consume too much sodium, especially in canned foods, cold cuts, bouillon powders, and industrial bread. That imbalance between potassium and sodium can cause muscle tension, high blood pressure, and of course cramps. Reviewing what you eat each day can make a big difference. Third mistake, not stretching before bed. When muscles aren't used during the day and you don't stretch before lying down, they shorten, they tighten, and that increases the likelihood of spasms during sleep. You don't need a yoga routine or a gym class. Just 5 minutes before sleeping, stretch the calves, ankles, toes. Make gentle circular movements. Breathe. That simple gesture can prepare your legs to rest and drastically reduce cramps. Fourth mistake, drinking water only during the day and none at night. Many older adults stop drinking water at night so they won't have to get up to use the bathroom. And while that seems reasonable, It can also be counterproductive. During the night, the body keeps working. Muscles are still active internally, and if they don't have enough water, they contract, they harden. The solution? You don't need to drink a liter of water before bed. Just a small glass, maybe with a few drops of lemon or a pinch of natural salt, can be enough to keep muscles hydrated until morning. Let me tell you about Julian. He is 84 years old, and for months he suffered cramps almost every night. He tried creams, massages, medications. Nothing worked. Until someone asked him, "How's your diet? Do you drink water at night? Do you stretch before bed?" And that's where the change began. Julian adjusted his diet. He went back to eating a banana in the afternoon. He drank half a glass of water with lemon before lying down. And each night, he stretched his legs for 5 minutes in bed. He didn't take new medications. He didn't drastically change his routine. He just corrected those small mistakes. And in 2 weeks, the cramps disappeared. So I want to leave you with this thought. Sometimes the solution isn't in a drug, but in what we stopped doing. Habits have power, and with just a few small changes, you can reclaim your nights and your peace of mind. One of the most effective and least used ways to prevent nighttime cramps is also the simplest. Move your body gently before bed. You don't need strength or flexibility. You don't need to leave home or go to a gym. It's simply about preparing your muscles for rest, so they don't tense up suddenly during the night. Today I want to share 3 simple exercises. You can do them seated, in bed, even if you have reduced mobility. They take no more than 5 minutes total, and they can make a huge difference in your sleep quality. First exercise, calf stretch. The calves are the most common muscles where cramps occur. Stretching them before sleeping helps them relax and not contract by surprise. How do you do it? If you can stand, lean against a wall, step back with one leg, keep the heel on the floor and the leg straight. The other leg in front, slightly bent. Gently press the wall with your hands and feel the stretch in the back of the rear leg. Hold that position for 20 seconds without bouncing or forcing. Then switch legs. And if you can't stand, if you're seated on the bed or in a chair, extend one leg forward with the toes toward you. With a towel or elastic band, loop the middle of the foot and gently pull toward you. Hold that tension for 20 seconds, then switch legs. Second exercise, circular ankle movements. This exercise improves circulation and relaxes the lower leg muscles. Seated on the bed or in a chair, lift one leg and move the ankle in circles. Make 5 circles one way, then 5 the other. Lower the leg and repeat with the other. It seems like a small movement, but it helps blood flow better and keeps muscles from feeling stiff at night. Third exercise, towel compression. This is ideal to relax the whole leg, especially after a long day or if you've been sitting for a long time. Take a medium towel and roll it into a tube. Place it right under your knees while you're lying down with legs straight. Let your legs rest on the towel for a few minutes. The slight elevation and pressure stimulate blood flow and help relax the musculature. You can do this for 5 or 10 minutes while you read or listen to music before sleeping. It requires no effort and is surprisingly effective. I want to tell you about Helen, an 80-year-old woman who had cramps every night for years. She tried medications, supplements, and although something improved, the cramps always came back. One day, her granddaughter, who studies physical therapy, taught her this 3-exercise routine. At first, Helen was skeptical. She thought it wouldn't do much. But she started doing it every night, like brushing your teeth or putting on pajamas. By the second week, she noticed she slept better. The cramps began to disappear. And the most curious thing, she felt more agile upon waking. Today, that routine is part of her nights. She says it not only helps her sleep, it also gives her the feeling that she's caring for her body, not surrendering to age. Because that's what matters, feeling that you can still do something for yourself. And many times, a few simple movements are enough to remind your body. Sometimes the best solutions don't come from a pharmacy or an expensive product. They come from the natural, from what's already at home, but we've forgotten over time. Today I want to share some lesser-known natural alternatives that can help you relax your body, sleep better, and avoid nighttime cramps. They don't replace the products we covered earlier, but they complement them wonderfully. And the best part, many of these ideas come from our grandmother's wisdom. First alternative, chamomile and valerian infusions. Chamomile is known for its relaxing properties. It helps calm the nervous system, reduces anxiety, and promotes deep sleep.
But what not everyone knows is that it also has anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic effects.
That means it can help relax muscles from the inside. Valerian, for its part, is an herb with a more direct effect on the central nervous system. It not only helps you sleep better, it also has a slight sedative effect on muscles. How to prepare them? Very simple. Place a teaspoon of dried chamomile or 1 tea bag in a cup of hot water. Let it steep for 10 minutes, covered well. If you want to boost the effect, add a few drops of valerian or use a blend that already includes it. You can sweeten with a bit of natural honey. Drink it 30 to 40 minutes before bedtime as part of your night routine. Over time, you'll see your body relax more easily, and the cramps begin to fade. Second alternative, heat patches. Have you tried applying heat directly to your legs before sleeping? Heat dilates blood vessels, improves circulation, and reduces muscle tension. Nowadays, there are single-use thermal patches that activate on contact with air, but you can also use a hot water bottle wrapped in a towel or even a warm compress made at home. Place it on the calves or feet for 15 or 20 minutes before bed. This will help the muscles relax completely. You can combine it with an infusion to enhance the effect. And if you do this after an Epsom salt foot bath, the result is even better. Third alternative, lavender essential oil mixed with olive oil. Lavender doesn't just smell good. It has calming, antispasmodic, and muscle-relaxing properties. And if you combine it with a carrier oil like olive oil, you can apply it directly to the skin with a gentle massage. How to do it? Mix 10 drops of lavender essential oil with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Apply a small amount to your legs before sleeping. Massage with slow, circular movements, especially on the calves and ankles. This kind of touch also has a strong emotional effect. It connects you with yourself, with care, with pause. And sometimes, that's exactly what you need to release the day's tension. Let me share something personal. One night, my granddaughter came to visit. She found me looking tired, tense, not in the mood to sleep. I told her the cramps had come back. Without a word, she went to the kitchen, heated water, and made me a cup of chamomile. While I drank the tea, she massaged my legs with a little lavender oil she had in her bag. It was her way of saying, "I'm taking care of you." That night I slept like I hadn't in weeks. It wasn't just the lavender or the tea, it was the intention, because sometimes the natural works, and so do affection, calm, connection. Since then, I've turned that routine into a habit. And every time I smell lavender, I remember that not everything has to come in a box with a prescription. Sometimes, nature already gave us what we need. Throughout this video, we've talked about something that, though it seems small, deeply affects the quality of life of many older adults: nighttime cramps. They're not just passing annoyances. They are interruptions to rest, to well-being, to the sense of safety we should feel when we close our eyes each night. But we've also seen there are real solutions, simple, natural, and within most people's reach. Let's recap. First, we talked about magnesium, that much-needed mineral we often forget. Whether in capsules or as a spray applied directly to the legs, magnesium can help calm the muscles and prevent those spasms that wake us in pain. Then we learned the importance of staying well hydrated, not just with water, but with natural electrolytes that help the body retain the minerals it needs. A simple glass with lemon, natural salt, and care can do far more than you imagine. And lastly, we saw the power of a gesture that seems simple, but is deeply healing. An Epsom salt foot bath, a moment of relaxation, of contact with yourself, that also helps magnesium penetrate the skin and relax the muscles right where you need it most. We added habits to that. Gentle stretches, avoiding certain common mistakes, natural infusions, warm compresses, and above all, listening to the body, because every body is different. What works for one may take longer for another. But the important thing is not to resign yourself, not to assume pain is an obligatory part of old age, not to normalize insomnia, fatigue, the fear of sleeping. I want you to take this message with you. There is always something you can do. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 80 years old. It's never too late to improve your rest, your health, and your well-being. And you are never alone on this path. Thousands of people have already found relief by applying these simple changes, and you can too. Before you go, I'd like to ask you a question. Have you suffered cramps at night? Have you tried any of these remedies? Or do you have another trick that has worked for you? Tell me down in the comments. Your experience can help others who are going through the same thing. Sometimes a shared story is the beginning of a solution. And if this video was useful to you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. That way you won't miss the next tips, stories, and recommendations to keep living with dignity, health, and joy, no matter your age.
Thank you for being here.
I'm sending you a huge hug, and I truly hope you sleep in peace tonight.